Going on? Welcome back. Let us. All right. So, how's everyone doing? Hopefully, stretch this out. Hopefully, you're doing well. Oh man, woo. And yeah. So let's. Oh, that folks did not like that. Of course, always something. All right, there we go. Okay, so let's go through this. I can. So, like I mentioned, let me share my screen here. I went to Google I/O this past week. It was on the 11th, and it was super cool. I got invited because of some stuff I'm doing at work, and yeah. So okay, so I created this website. So since I'm going to talk about it, let me add it. Um, it's doing stuff.in, right? Doing stuff in. So like doing stuff in Google I/O, and add that link. So here is so this what I got in like the swag bag when I went to register. And so there's like a water bottle, the bag that everything came in, a hat, got like they said it's limited edition like sweater since I registered the day before, and t-shirt and like sunscreen which I didn't use, and then my badge. But I was a developer partner, which I didn't know at the time, but like I guess there's like a general section, like a general admission, and then there's like different things. So like I guess if you're like a play partner or like a marketing partner or something. But so I was under developer partner, and it was cool. Like we had our own like area, our own section where we could like network with the different developers working on the stuff we were using at Google, and that was a pretty cool. And I got to see the people that I've been talking to just through like emails and things. And so that was pretty cool. What else? And so, yeah, there's my badge. Some randomness I saw in California, some more randomness. I like to take pictures of graffiti. There's some more food. I do a retrospective. All right, so here we are. So I was actually at Shoreline Amphitheater, and so yeah, so I just kind of took pictures of everything. A lot of people. It was like a sea of people. It was kind of amazing. Um, there's a DJ with like a person playing violin. That was cool. Another picture there. They had like all these different things you could like. It was pretty cool. Like you had like seating, and it was like park seating, all this stuff, park benches. It was like a map with all the stuff, and then some like the breakfast that I was served was cool. And then there's me, and so I don't take like selfies or anything, but it was just cool that like for years I've been watching this online. You know what I mean? And to see it in real life was like surreal, and so that was pretty cool. So I wanted to make sure to took a picture, and then yeah, some more stuff. That DJ was pretty cool. Shouts to the person doing the sign language. That was awesome. And then it's got time to start. And then there's Sundar, the head of CEO of Google. So that was cool. And then it was time for like the developer. So that was the keynote. And so they all the different like products and the things that are happening in Google. And then there was time for the developer keynote. And so that's where they kind of talk about all the different things that are happening within like the developer community at Google. And so I took a bunch of pictures. And then Firebase, shout out to Firebase. That's pretty much why I was there. And so they announced some cool stuff like the Firebase extensions, which is a thing that I've been working on. And then they announced the extensions events, which is cool. And then yeah, I think that's it. And then yeah, and then oh, there's like a after the event thing. And so went to that. I got to talk to some cool people. And yeah, and this is afterwards, you know, the stage empty and everything's all cleared out. And so yeah, had a great time. And so there's that, right? So now, if you go to the site, so that was the first day. Then the second day, they had a bunch of different things that you could check out. So like the program, Oh, since I'm here, let me paste this link so you can check it out later. All right. So yeah, so program overview. All right. So day one, we had the keynote and the developer keynote, and then day two, they had all these other things that popped up. And so one of them that I really was kind of looking forward to and hope it becomes like general soon, because right now it's behind some flags like in Chrome, but I'm hoping it comes to regular browsers, and I'll show you why, because I have some sites that kind of use it. So I did some workarounds to make it work. But so the page transition in web browsers, the page transition API. So just going to play a little bit of this real quick. So check it out.
Hello, I'm here to talk to you about a feature that I've wanted on the web for years now. Something that has been tried many times before, but this time it feels like we're really close.
Yeah, I've tried it.
I am, of course, talking about page transitions. You know what I mean, right? This kind of thing. I look at this in the material design guides and it just looks really good. Not only that, it gives the user context to the navigation.
Yeah.
It's clear which information is coming from where and the direction of travel.
Yep.
Whereas on the web, click pop, that's your lot. Why can't we have nice things? Well, one reason is that page transitions involve parts of the old thing and new thing animating together in.
Yeah, so basically it's super difficult because when you go to a new page, it's a new page. And by trying to transition between like the old thing and the new thing, when it's like a totally different request, it's kind of difficult. And so they're working on a way of being able to make it so that you can do that in the browser. And they have an example. I think it's around here. Let's see.
You'll be as excited about this feature as I am. We're going to take this basic site and use the new API to transition between states. It's a single page app because that's what the experimental stuff in Canary supports right now. But don't worry, this whole system is designed to work in a very similar way for multi-page apps. We just haven't implemented it yet. Here's a rough example of how navigations are currently handled. Let's add some transitions. First up, we're going to add a fallback for browsers that don't support this new API, so things continue to work as normal. Otherwise, we're going to create a transition and start it, letting the API know when the DOM change is complete. Some of the API names here may change, like we might rename some stuff, but the pattern should remain the same. The important part is the API gets to see the state of things before and after the DOM change. And just like that, we've got this nice subtle fade between states. Okay.
So it goes more into that. So that's pretty cool. Like there's a fade and everything. And then like if you want like one transition to go to the other one, you kind of like name it. I think he says it around here. So this is pretty cool.
It's a super slow crossfade. All right, fair enough. But let's do more. Let's change that animation completely. First, let's define some keyframes. This slides the element out to the left, and this slides the element in from the right.
So this is regular CSS.
Now let's use those keyframes. We'll slide the outgoing image to the left and the incoming image in from the right, just using normal CSS animations. And the result of that, not bad. There are a couple of things it could do better, of course.
So that's pretty cool, right? So now that's just because the default is crossfade, and then you can just use regular CSS animations to change it. Was it this one? Yeah, I think it's this one. Okay, I think it's coming up here. Let's check this out here.
The page transition API lets us do that. We assign a page transition tag to the header.
So you assign a tag to the element.
Site header here, that's just an identifier. You can pick whatever name you want. We also give it paint containment, which is just a requirement for this API. This changes how the page is captured. Previously, the page was being captured as a single screenshot. But when you give an element a page transition tag, it's captured separately, but still just as a screenshot. So now we have incoming and
so what it's doing is like the fade transition is actually taking screenshots of like the start and the end and then transitioning in between them. And so if it's a fade, it's just like a fade. But if you move it left and right, like that, that's pretty cool. That's pretty ingenious. And now when you do the tag, I guess it takes a screenshot of that individual element that you just tagged, and then it will move it between the things. So, all right, so check this out.
Outgoing images for the root, and separate incoming and outgoing images for the header. In the same way we got one of these structures for the root of the page, we get another of these structures representing the header. It's now something we can target with CSS using the page transition tag we assigned it, which is...
That also reminds me of like the part for web components, just like that. That's pretty cool. All right.
Site header in this case. That means we can animate it independently of the rest of the page. Here's how it looks now. We haven't told the header how to animate, so it's just doing the default thing, which is to crossfade. And that, well, it looks pretty good. But we can do even better with one small change. See where it says HTTP 203 in the header there? Well, let's capture that separately too.
So do that separately.
So now we have 3 parts transitioning independently: the root, the header, and the text in the header. I already mentioned that the default transition is a crossfade, but I sneakily left one detail out. It also transitions the size and position of the element from its before state to its after state. And that didn't matter for the root or the header because those are in the same place and size before and after the DOM change. But for our heading text, it does this really satisfying shift across to make space for the back button. I really like how we're making small additions and adjustments to create...
So that's cool. Then they do the actual thing, like the actual thumbnail, which is pretty cool. So let's see. I think they did it here. Let's see.
I don't know, a bit much. Like the whole page sliding across seems a bit over the top, makes you feel a bit nauseous, a bit dizzy. But we can solve this the usual.
Okay, all right.
That means we can keep our previous transitions on mobile where the whole thing slides from the side. But over on desktop, we can have something a bit more subtle, like this fade and slide. I don't know. I just made this up. I'm not a designer.
So you can probably think of something better. Slide, which is cool. Let's see.
Large video embed there. And I'm going to make it its own layer in the transition. But this video embed only exists on this page. It doesn't exist in this page, the thumbnails page. But that's fine. Like, you can create transition layers that only have an outgoing or an incoming component. That's a pretty common thing to do, like, as things appear or as things disappear. But that's not what we're going to do here. Here's the rough code for when one of those thumbnails.
So it's going to assign the thumbnail
using inline styles.
The same video
treat this
embed tag
as the video embed.
Yeah.
It isn't actually the video embed, it's just the thumbnail. But for the sake of the transition, we're saying that the thumbnail is the before state of the real video embed.
That's cool.
And the effect of that, you ready? The thumbnail now grows into the main embed. It doesn't matter that they were different elements in the DOM. We told the page transition API to...
All right, so you can check out, let me add the link to this directly so you can check this out. It's a good watch, so you can check it out. Now, my only thing is that it's behind a flag, and so it's only available in a certain thing. But I think you can get like a key or something, and they have links to stuff. But and then I guess you can use it in your like origin trail thing or something. I don't know, but I'm waiting for that to come to like the regular web, which would be pretty cool. Because so, for example, I have this website, otech.events, right? And it's a place where I keep track. Like you can a place to watch Orlando Tech Talks, and so I have like all the upcoming meetups that are happening in the Orlando like tech scene, right? So I have a bunch of stuff here, and I was also live streaming the events because I was going to all the different meetups anyway. So while I was there, I might as well live stream them, right? And so I created this site, and it's using Svelte and Sapper. And they have these transition things that you can use. So similar to, I totally forgot to do all the clips and everything. So similar to what they were showing before, you can kind of do something similar. And so, for example, like if you view more info about this archive, see how it kind of like went, like the whole thing slid up through the top. So that's kind of like what they were doing before. And so we have like video, the details, all these things. If you go to like the upcoming, same thing. So you can click that, it kind of zooms up, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so there's that one, right? And then I have this other site, my actual website, my personal website, lifelong.dev. Oh, let me uh, put this in the list of links. So I'm just kind of showing like these are the things that I would do. I've been kind of doing them in my project, but to have it like built in to the browser would be super helpful. And so this one is lifelong.dev. And so this one, like I have all these sections here. And so when you click on one, so it has like that transition, but this is just a single page one. And so you can see it shows like a blog post that I wrote or what have you. And it goes back, right? And then like here's the latest radio show. And so then you can play it there. And so, and then like for example, then also the portfolio page where I make stuff. So these are some of my past projects. I need to update this. I've created a lot more since then. Yeah, so I think this is pretty cool and what I'm looking forward to building in the newer ones. So again, shouts to Jake Archibald. You know what I mean? Like it's pretty cool what they've got going on here. Looking forward to it. And just for the fact that all it is just taking and doing naming like each individual part. You know what I'm saying? That's what I find to be super cool. And so it's just regular like JavaScript stuff, and it's just adding. Oh, and then you can do like the reduced motion. So let's check this out real quick. So for people who prefer reduced motion, it mentions it here. So let's take a listen to this real quick.
That means we can keep our previous transitions on mobile where the whole thing slides from the side. But over on desktop, we can have something a bit more subtle, like this fade and slide. I don't know. I just made this up. I'm not a designer. You could probably think of something better. But while we're being responsive, here's the code from earlier that triggers the transition. Currently, the transition is skipped if the browser doesn't support the API. But let's also add a check for prefers reduced motion. And alternatively, you could keep the transitions, but just make them really subtle for users that prefer less motion. Remember, it prefers reduced motion, not prefers no motion. But I'm just going to avoid them completely, be a bit lazy, whatever. All right, what else can we do? Well, watch this. I'm going to take.
So yeah, so I think it's super cool. A thing that's coming to the browser, and I hope other browsers adopt it as well. And yeah, you know what? Let me look that up on MDN while we're here. Hold on. Page transition API. I must have like looked this up before or something. Page transition event. I think this is it. Is this similar to what he was doing? No, I don't think this is it. But this, oh, was it this one? I don't know. But it has support. I might have to check this out. I'm not sure, but I think this is something different because I don't remember seeing Advent page show. I don't know. Again, this is the cool thing about the web. You get to explore and try out new things. And so, yeah, well, check this out. But yeah, so that's that. What do you think? Is this a thing that you would like to try in one of your projects? Like I said, I've been doing something similar. Oh, and then there's one that was super cool. Let me look it up. Her name is Sara Drasner, and it was okay. I think it's H. And then it was like it was like page transition thing. I remember seeing this a while ago. I was like, oh, this is super cool. I think it's this native like, yeah. So this is from like 2018, but it's updated on 2020. Yes, this is her. Let me put a link to this as well. I am going over, but this is cool, and I want to share all the things. All right, so let's take a look at the demo site. All right, yeah, this is it. So like when you click on different things, so check this out. You saw how it transitioned to a new place. So just like how Jake was, what? It's like how Jake was saying, it gives like context and where things kind of go to. And so you see that moved over. That's pretty cool. And then, so and it changed these up here. So then you can look at, so it went from a circle to like a rounded square. See, and things kind of like transition. So that's pretty dope. So Sarah Drasner talks about that also and how to get that accomplished. So if you want to try that, you can also. And so, yeah. Oh, and this is, I guess, using Vue. Yeah. Cool. So yeah, so it's using Vue. So if you're into Vue, you can do that. But the way I did my actual website, so all the information is actually loaded in this block. And then when I click here, I just kind of like make it visible as the block gets bigger and things move into different places. So that's how I did that one. And yeah, so like here's, so yeah, so that's just how I did that. And so there's multiple ways of doing it because it's the web and the web is amazing. So let me get y'all back to work. We're already over time. And yeah, so I thought that was super cool. And let me know what you think. And yeah, I think that's going to be it. So let me create this highlight video. Cool if I forget. And yeah, thanks for hanging out. Close this. Get this up here. Send you all with some traveling music. And this is Anthony Cruz, aka A Butter. The track is called Thank You, because I want to thank y'all for hanging out. And then, cool. All right, here we go. Yes, thanks for hanging out, y'all. See you 15 minutes after the hour for the next break session. And yeah, thanks again. See you soon.
I wanna say thank you for holding on when a brother was down and out. Now I feel so strong, and I wanna say thank you for being there when a brother had nowhere to turn to. You were there, and I feel like hell. And everybody says hell. We spread it love like hell. I wanna say thank you for holding on when a brother was down and out. Now I feel so strong, and I wanna say thank you for being there when a brother had nowhere to turn to. You were there, and I feel like hell. And everybody says hell. We spread love like hell. I wanna say thank you for holding on